Hey, so today I want to talk about the OnePlus 10 Pro. This is a smartphone that we are expecting for the next year from OnePlus, and I want to discuss the top 5 things that you could perhaps expect from this flagship smartphone that aren't just specifications, because if you want to delve into the specifications, you're going to get some insane memory capacities, you're going to get some insane processing power, but all of that is off to the side. So I want to start off number one with the design. Now, the last OnePlus smartphone I've used is the OnePlus 8 Pro. The OnePlus 8 Pro was the last officially available smartphone here in the UAE, and ever since that, OnePlus has totally ignored us. It's not like they've considered us before, it's just that they were trying to get us involved. Now they're pretty much non-existent in this region. But the OnePlus 8 Pro, really nice phone. It had some issues, green tinting issues to be specific, as well as something to do with the camera sort of seeing through clothes. All of that was addressed by OnePlus and they disabled the color meter, etc. The OnePlus 9 I never got a chance to check out. The OnePlus 9 Pro also did not get a chance to check out, although I did watch some coverage from my friend Kevin the Tech Ninja and what he thought about the smartphone. And it seems like the OnePlus 10 Pro is supposedly going the same route. So in terms of design, if you look at it from a slab form factor, it is pretty much identical. The camera is off to the left side of the smartphone, and overall you're going to be looking at a 6.7-inch display, perhaps 120 Hz refresh rate, as well as an AMOLED panel. That's pretty much standard on OnePlus smartphones. So is wireless charging now, as well as IP68 certification. What isn't standard is the software that you're going to be seeing this year. So instead of Oxygen OS, which we typically associate with on OnePlus devices, this year the OnePlus 10 Pro or the OnePlus 10 series is going to be the first to come with Color OS pre-installed on all of its smartphones, which is a big thing. Now look, I've had Oppo devices in the past and I know what Color OS feels like. So in terms of it, if it comes to this region, it's not going to make a massive difference, but for people in the USA or for people in India who perhaps thought Oxygen OS was one of the key selling points for a OnePlus smartphone, this is going to be a huge departure. And I don't know how OnePlus is going to handle that, whether they're going to lose a significant amount of audience to other devices like Xiaomi or even, well, there's only Xiaomi, but you get what I mean. So OnePlus may be in a bit of a weak spot here with the OnePlus 10 Pro. Of course, they are going to market it saying that it's still the same phone, it's still the same company, and the essentials are still going to be the same, but I don't know how well received it is going to be in these particular regions. Now, of course, in China, it still ships with Color OS, so it's not going to be any different with the OnePlus 10 Pro. Only in international regions, this might be a problem. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is the battery capacity of the OnePlus 10 Pro. First of all, I think it's going to have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and all of these things are actually confirmed to a certain degree by OnLeaks. He's a great leakster, leaks out things pretty much 6 months in advance. So if you want to check out that detailed article, it is linked down in the description. But as I said, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery with 125 watt charging. Now, yes, whenever we talk about fast charging, it's sort of a mixed bag. Some people think it's excellent. Some people think it sort of jeopardizes the longevity of a smartphone. I think I'm sort of in the middle where I appreciate that fast charging technology being out there. And definitely if you can tone it down and make it optimized like OnePlus has done, where it's not always 125 watts charging, it is going to do a good job and your battery is going to last a long time. But the 125 watt charging is going to charge the smartphone in 20 minutes, and that's insane. That pretty much means you can forget about overnight charging, but that also means for people like myself who sort of always rely on overnight charging, even though these fast charging technologies exist, it's going to be somewhat difficult to adapt to. Maybe you have to go to sleep with the smartphone at like 25%, make sure it goes all the way down to maybe 15% by the time you wake up, and then plug it in. And by the time you're ready in the morning, it's going to be 100%. I don't know how the future of charging technology is going to shape up to be, but 125 watt charging, no one is complaining. I don't know if it's going to impact wireless charging as well. Maybe OnePlus is going all out with 67 watt wireless charging on the 10 Pro. That is something that I'm not sure as of yet from the leaks, but definitely let me know if you guys know anything about that in the comments down below. Okay, so the third thing that I want to address is the design. Now, in terms of your overall design, it's pretty much still going to be the same smartphone. It's got the curved screen, as I said, but the back of the smartphone sees a major design change. Now, I don't know if this design change was planned or was it inspired. I believe it was the latter, because if you have a look at the OnePlus 10 Pro leaked design, it looks pretty much identical to what the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra brought with that contour cut camera design. OnePlus has borrowed that, and this leads me on nicely onto the camera of the OnePlus 10 Pro. If you remember the OnePlus 9 Pro, they had a partnership going on with Hasselblad, with the first year being just a preliminary step into the photography world and nothing more than that. But the second year is going to be the key or the crucial aspect for OnePlus to get things right. Now, last year, from what I saw with the reviews, the camera wasn't perfect. It was a 50 megapixel sensor, Sony sensor. I believe it was the Sony IMX766, but correct me if I'm wrong. There was also a 48 megapixel ultra wide angle camera on there, as well as an 8 megapixel telephoto camera. Now, in terms of the quality of photos, it wasn't too shabby. I think it did a great job, but when it came to uniformity between all of these three lenses, that was the major issue for the OnePlus 9 Pro, and I believe OnePlus is going to address that with the Hasselblad partnership and make sure that the OnePlus 10 Pro is going to address that shortcoming, I guess. So that is pretty much the camera. Also, they did introduce 8K video recording at 30 FPS, so we are likely to see an upgrade to that with the new optics on the OnePlus 10 Pro, but I'm not really sure about 8K 30 FPS on a smartphone. Android smartphones are barely getting 4K 30 FPS right. And this is coming from someone who loves Android smartphones but can't stand the video quality of even the highest end Android smartphones when compared to, let's say, the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max. And pretty much all of the Apple devices in the past 1 or 2 years that can do video recording at 4K 60, I feel like Apple still has the edge when it comes to video recording. And if OnePlus can surpass that with the OnePlus 10 Pro coming up, it is going to be an outstanding feat. And that pretty much sums up everything I wanted to talk about with the smartphone. I think you get a general gist of what the smartphone is going to entail as well. And the last thing that I want to say is pricing and availability. Now, in terms of pricing, I'm pretty sure we're going to stay similar. So it's not going to increase more than what it has become already. I think OnePlus was known to be the flagship killer. Now they've become the flagship, and to be honest, that's okay. I don't really mind that. It's just that if they keep hiking up the prices for no reason at all, I think that's going to be a problem. So if this year they can stay consistent with their pricing from last year, I think that's a-okay. And in terms of availability, I think it's going to be earlier than what we typically associate with OnePlus. And I say that because we're starting to see leaks in November. Usually we see OnePlus leaks sometime around March or even February. We're starting to see them earlier, and that ties in with the Samsung launch that is coming up at CES, as well as the Galaxy S22 series. I believe that OnePlus wants to launch the OnePlus 10 Pro with the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra and whatever else Samsung has in store, because that way it's sort of a direct competition with, you know, the highest end Android smartphone in Samsung versus the highest end Android smartphone in OnePlus. Now, fingers crossed that the OnePlus 10 Pro does make it to the UAE. I have a slight inclination in the fact that because OnePlus is now opting for Oppo and Oppo's presence in the UAE is massive, maybe, just maybe, OnePlus 10 Pro might make it to the UAE, but we're not sure. I'm not sure. I can only hope. Let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comments, and let me know what you think about the OnePlus 10 Pro. Are you excited for the smartphone, or are you sort of deflated and just want to see what OnePlus has in store and move on with the rest of the year? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.